This is the end of round 2. Germany purchased 10 transports, invaded Scotland with 6 infantry, 3 transports, into Sea Zone 111. They took southern France, and they moved some bombers and fighters and tacticals to bomb London. They lost 1 bomber to the AA gun, did 6 damage, and then moved Bulgaria and Yugoslavia up closer to Russia, and moved the mechanized infantry from France to Germany. That's all for the Germans. They're going to do a sea line next turn. And then the Russians purchased 6 tanks, 3 in Ukraine and 3 in Leningrad, and moved up a whole ton of infantry, artillery to the border with Germany, ready to invade them next turn. And they moved in infantry to Soviet Far East. Japanese purchased 2 tanks and 1 mech on Shanghai. They took Krakow, Hopi, and Yunnan again, but the Chinese took Yunnan back. And in infantry and artillery in Guangxi with 2 tacticals and 2 fighters. They also purchased 1 infantry, 1 artillery, 1 transport, and 1 destroyer in Sea Zone 6. And then moved their navy off the Caroline Islands and some more planes onto the Caroline Islands as well as Paul Island. Going for Anzac. And that's all for the Japanese. The Americans purchased 1 infantry and a carrier and a destroyer on the west coast. Moved a transport to Hawaii with an infantry and artillery, and 1 back to the States. Put out a few destroyers as blockers in Wake Island, Johnson, and the Solomon Islands, just in case the Japanese want to come up to Hawaii. And then on the east coast, purchased 3 transports and 1 infantry, moved their carrier to Sea Zone 102, and that's all for the Americans. The Chinese purchased 5 infantry, 1 there, 4 there, and then they attacked Yunnan, took it back with loss of 1 infantry. And the British purchased 7 infantry in India, moved a couple more infantry into Burma. They took Sumatra, and that's all for them. Then the British purchased 10 infantry and repaired their factory all the way. Brought another infantry and artillery from Canada. Moved their destroyers to Sea Zone 1010 and 111. And then dropped 2 infantry from Persia into Egypt with their transport. And then moving up South Africa again into Belgian Congo. And that's all for the British. The Italians purchased 1 cruiser. They took Malta. There was no one there, so it's just undefended. And they tried taking Greece with 1 infantry, 1 tank, and 1 fighter. Or 2 infantry. They lost 2 infantry. Still had the tank and fighter, but decided to retreat. Probably go back next turn or the turn after that. And they attacked the destroyer in Sea Zone 111. They killed him, but lost the bomber, unfortunately. The French, moving their infantry closer to Egypt, as well as Syria to Transjordan. Moved their destroyer to the Pacific. And then Anzac purchased 2 infantry and 1 artillery. Moved their infantry to Queensland. And then moved their transports to Sea Zone 57 and 52 to hopefully save them for something later on. And then moved a cruiser to Sea Zone 49 and a destroyer to 46. So that's the end of this round. Round 3 coming up. London Hold.